Hi, I'm here with Nicolas Servel. We're actually in Nice, in the south of France, at the Musée Chagall, which is a beautiful spot. Nicolas lives down here. He is Director of Entrepreneurship at Schema Business School, which is a French business school he can tell you a bit about. And Nicolas and I met some time back when he worked on one of our first research projects in the early days of what is now Qodeo, interviewing VCs, and we've kept in touch ever since. So he's one of our alumni. I'm going to let Nicolas tell a little bit about what he does and about his background, but also about the entrepreneurship and venture scene in the south of France, as a region of France, and within France.
Hi Simon, thank you very much. So delighted to be here again with Simon, whom I met, as he said, about 20 years ago. And since then we've been interacting and keeping in touch as friends now. And I think the entrepreneurship scene in France has changed radically over the last 10 years or so. When we've met, it was still pretty difficult and pretty hard to start a company in France. That was still very bureaucratic. And at the moment, over the last 10 years, things have changed radically and drastically. The ecosystem has matured a lot in terms of the effectiveness of starting a company, and the things are very smooth. Now, to give you some rough numbers, startups and scale-ups now do generate about 15% of the executive jobs in France for young people. There's a lot of, France has caught up a lot with for example, with the UK in terms of funding. So France used to lag behind very seriously 10 or 15 years ago. Now the gap is narrowing. I still think that we've got an issue in terms of funding compared to the US, for example. But I think the most important thing is, if we step back to the basics, there's still a lot of young, talented entrepreneurs whom I see every day from every nationalities, which are working really hard to build product and solutions, to fix some big issues in the world. And I think, to me, that's the reassuring message. People are finding, unfortunately, there's a lot of things which are complicated at the moment in the world on many fronts. And we still have young people working very actively to build product, build solution, find customers, to develop and scale some very smart product. And to some extent, the world is evolving in, despite the geopolitical, let's say, complications at the moment. I think if you are talented, driven, committed, you can still find solution and funding, for your company. I've got, for example, 3 different projects at the moment. Two French students who started their year at the SCT, the Soutarja Center for Entrepreneurship and Technology of UC Berkeley. They did their first semester there, came back the second semester at Schema in one of my programs. They just raised 300K. They're in New York at the moment in a leading accelerator. I've got 2 talented young women who are working on making some flour for gluten intolerant people based from byproduct. They just integrated an accelerator here in the south of France, which is focused on sustainability and nature. And they just get like 20K, and they might get like an extra 80K in 6 months. I've got like a third example, one Indian student who is working for plastic recycling. So he's basically collecting plastic from NGOs in India who are working in partnerships with the United Nations, paying a fair wage to people collecting plastic, and then turning it into very nice looking, I've seen them, and very solid product. He just integrated Monaco Tech, which is an incubator here. So I guess the key message is, for young, talented people, there's still a lot of solutions that do exist, to keep building a product, solution, companies that are changing the world and addressing some big issues in the world. So for me, that's very reassuring. Not perfect yet, but
on the way.
things are on the way. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Nicolas. Qodeo looks forward to working further with you as one of our alumni, but it's actually the second interview I've done with an alum in Sunshine this year. So I was with Jose Luis Munoz, who is now on an advisory board, who was at IE Business School as one of our alumni in Madrid. He's now works in AI. He's worked for Scale AI and Meta and other companies, and he's advising Qodeo now on our AI strategies. So it's great to kind of meet up with the alumni, but we're also going to hopefully work with Schema doing some fundraising, myth-busting workshops, and hopefully on board students like the ones you talked about into the platforms they can access some capital.
We will, and it has been great to keep in touch over the last 20 years or so, which proves when we first met, which proves that I think Simon is a very trustful and reliable person to work with. Pleasure to have seen you.
And that's from a Frenchman to an Englishman.
Absolutely. That's entente cordiale.
Thanks everybody. See you soon.
See you. Cheers.